And I am trying to bring to you information from people that have done it themselves, or people that have just started doing things themselves. Because, I feel like in the business world, whether you own a business, you run a business, you're thinking about starting a business, we all go through hurdles, roadblocks, whether they're mentally or things that come from an outside influence. And, all of these entrepreneurs have stories that just really are very inspiring, mainly because they just put their head down and just got into it, And so today I have an amazing pleasure and honor to interview one of my friends for quite some time, who I just have so much respect for. And she's going to be so much different than everybody else we've talked to, because her experience and her business is so different than anything we've talked about yet. So I can't wait for you guys to meet Nicole and hear all about her story. Nicole, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Um,
When I saw that you were doing this, I thought, oh, I like Connie. I think I'm going to do this with her.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And the thing about that is, so many people have reached out to me and said, hey, well, you didn't ask me about this. And I'm like, look, I haven't even had a chance. It's just exploded. It's been wonderful that people want to do it. So I haven't had a chance to ask a lot of people. So if you know somebody that has done what we're talking about, they run a business, they own a business, they were thinking about starting a business, let's talk. Get them to talk to me, because I just love sharing these stories, because they're all so unique and they all have a lot of things weaved in between them that are so similar. So
Okay.
Nicole, thank you again for being here. And what I really want to start us off with is, I want you to share your story. I want you to tell everybody, who you are, why you started doing what you're doing now, how long you've been doing it, and give us just a feel for who Nicole is and what you're doing.
Okay, well, my name, Nicole Daniels. I'm a licensed clinical marriage and family therapist, and I've been in the mental health field consistently since 2000. I work with families, and I feel like families are the crust of our communities. This is a part of the things that I say to people all the time. If our communities are better, then we're better, So I feel like I really strongly feel that if we have healthy families, then we have healthy things going on in our community. And I want to be a part of that. The reason that I ventured into marriage and family therapy was just, I guess it dawned on me probably around high school that everybody wasn't living the same. Everybody wasn't living the same type of lifestyle. Everyone didn't have the same opportunities, which is obvious to a lot of us. But one of the things that I think really made a difference was the support for me that I got from my family. And I know that a lot of my peers did not have the consistent support that they may have needed to get to the place that they wanted to go, even if maybe financially they didn't have, the necessary resources. Family has been one of the things that has helped me reach a lot of my goals. And so I realized, like I said, definitely in high school, that I thought if other people had the same family resource or support, or even that one person who could make a difference for them, that supported them, that people's lives could be different. And I really just thought that I could help that process along for some people. And so this is how I ended up.
So powerful. I mean, it's so obvious. Like, we all know this, right? I mean, you see where people who have their family support, in most cases, are successful, whether it's in business or even just in their life, because they have that support and they can bounce things off of people and they can get educated information. Because none of us come into this life with a rule book that tells us exactly what we're supposed to do, and so that's where your family does come in, or people that support you is giving you that healthy education of experience. And so that's really, gosh, it's so powerful and interesting, because you are seeing things from a way that we all, as soon as you say it, we're all like, yeah, absolutely, but not really thinking about it until, you had brought that up. So that's really cool. So as a young person, you decided, wow, this is great. I want to be involved in this because I see the benefit that is for me and how my peers would have probably been more successful had they had those experiences. And so you sort of started this path back when you were in high school, I guess, as a teen, correct?
That's correct. And I won't say that they would, and I guess it depends on what your measure of success is.
Right.
But I definitely will say that I know that there would be people who felt more emotionally sound, or people who felt more emotionally strong to continue to do things. Like I feel like definitely that's a big part of having the family support, is having the emotional resources to work through as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, success is what you feel like it is. And in my mind, success has so many different meanings, emotionally strong, being able to support yourself, that you can work through problem solving, so I mean, so many different things. And that's very important that you point that out, because just because we're talking in an entrepreneurial series doesn't mean that we're talking about business success. We're talking about human beings and their ability to work through whatever those problems may be.
Yeah, and that's a great part of my business, is trying to help people be able to work through the difficulties that they may have in their lives. And there's so many ways to do that, but this is the best way that I have found.
Awesome. So tell us how you got from, wow, you saw this as something that you really felt strongly about and you wanted to take control of, to what did you do next? After high school, you went to college, I am sure, because you
Yeah,
education. So tell us a little bit about that process.
I'm sorry for laughing. Yes, because I went to college, but the funny thing is that I decided to not do this. I decided to go into architectural engineering because I could make more money. I was great in math, and I thought, oh yeah, let me do this. And then when I got to college, the realization hit me that I didn't like that, and I needed to stick with what I wanted to do in the beginning. So I circled around, and got my BS in psychology, and then at some point I got my master's in counseling psychology at Radford University. So it's been steady. Me being able to really be a part of the mental health field has been studied since grad school.
That's really neat, and that's a commonality. I feel like people that go to college for a particular thing. One of the ladies we were talking to last week, who's a realtor, who went to school for Spanish studies, and then Michelle, and then went to work in the engineering field, and then now she's a realtor and a salesperson and absolutely loves it. So it's interesting how life throws us these little challenges to see where we're going to really land. So after you come out of grad school, do you start working in a mental health office, or did you immediately open your own practice?
Actually, no. After I graduated, I actually was pregnant, and so I didn't work. I didn't start. I graduated in '98 and started working consistently in 2000. So I did have a great practicum during my graduate studies. And I did do some other things. I worked in a daycare. Like, I did do some other things, but I didn't really consistently stay in the mental health field until 2000. And at that point, I worked for other people, because the thing that sometimes we, as you're saying, we don't really realize what we don't know until we start actually doing the business of the job. So at that point, I was really just looking for experience. I've worked in several nonprofits, which has given me the opportunity to have a lot of experience. I've worked with all different populations. I've worked in drug and alcohol. I've worked with senior adults. I've worked with youth who have struggles. And so I've worked at the Pentagon. So I've been able to really kind of have the opportunities to give me all of the skills that I've really needed to open my practice, which I did in 2010.
Nice, nice. So, wow, that's fantastic. And the beautiful thing is you've been able to try all these different areas, which are like trying these different fields. People, she's talking about trying all these different areas. I mean, they're all very, I imagine, very different from each other. And so how you approach them and work with people in each of those areas is very different.
Definitely. I definitely have to say that the gratitude that I had for each opportunity was there. But I don't think that there's any replacement for experience. No matter how much you learn in school, it has to be matched with experience and great supervising. I've had a lot of great people who have supported me through my professional journey, and who have given me a lot of wisdom and knowledge, not just professionally, but in terms of business and just dealing with people. So
Yeah.
it was definitely, I definitely have a lot of gratitude for having all those opportunities, and they've helped me in more ways than one.
Nice. Well, one thing I wanted to hit on is this notion that I've talked to with several entrepreneurs that you talked about just now, and how different the business side of your owning a business is from doing what you are in that business for, what you love. So, when you actually open the doors and now it's yours, now you're not just serving the people that you're taking care of, those families, trying to create those healthy families, but now you also have to be a bookkeeper, and you have to be a office cleaner, and you have to be a stenographer to take notes, and you also have to be pretty good on the computer to be able to do all of that. So you learned all different kinds of things that maybe you didn't even realize that you had to do. So talk to us a little bit about that from the entrepreneurial side.
Well, unfortunately, there's not something that they give you or teach you in school. They don't teach you about business, and you would think that would be a big part of a lot of the programs. But some of the things I've just had to learn the hard way from dealing with things. One of the things that a lot of providers look to are insurance panels.
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself is another ball of wax. But I agree with you, just doing the day to day, keeping up with things that I'm buying, or things that I need, keeping up with my bills, keeping up with billing for my clients. And thank goodness I have someone who provides great office space for me. She's been really helpful. I don't want to drop names, but you know who I'm talking about. Anyway, she's been
She's commenting on our video, so you can. It's all good.
Greg has been great in offering me office space, and I think that's the important thing, is when you decide to go into business for yourself, being able to be around people that you trust is really important. Being around people who have the same attitude as you do about business, people who would like to see you flourish, because again, it's a community spirit. When you have someone who can support you, you do well, they do well. And so, yes, if I had known what I know now in grad school, I probably would have tried to advocate for a business class or something along the way.
Gotcha. So interestingly enough, I think you bring up another point that we've talked a lot about with other entrepreneurs. And I think this sort of falls in that area, but maybe you can expound on it because you've probably had other experience with this. But mentors, we talk in almost every single interview about the importance of mentors. And, I think people have a huge stigma about what they think a mentor is, and maybe somebody who can give them some direction, maybe help them understand processes that they don't understand. But, there's a saying out there, if there's someone that you admire and you want to be able to do what they're doing, ask them how they're doing it and follow what they're doing. And I think there's a stigma. A lot of people don't want to ask for help because they feel like, especially as a business owner, maybe it makes me feel, like I'm silly, or I should know this, or that kind of thing.
Right.
You're clearly stepping out and saying, look, I'm really good at what I do as a practice, but as far as the business side of it, I just never had the training. So I'm not afraid to reach out and ask for those thoughts, that assistance. So yeah, give us a little bit more about that, if you would.
I definitely had to reach out and ask for assistance. I've gone to trainings, and like I said, I've asked other people who've been in business for years. But one of the things about my professional career, and I am more than happy to share this as well. As a professional in mental health, we have to have supervisors as well because we're dealing with people's lives. So my
Mhm.
my entrepreneur life, I guess, in my professional life, they mimic each other. I had to get supervision to be able to work with people and the issues that they have. And I still will reach out and ask, someone who's been in the field longer, who's been dealing with clients longer, if I'm having difficult cases or difficulties, and professionally it has to be the same way. So I in turn will supervise interns who are trying to get their license or who need their hours, and so the, both of these lives, I guess my business life and
Mhm.
my professional life, they mimic each other, and it's for the best because and learning is endless.
Absolutely. That's a powerful statement, and that we haven't really talked about. Nobody's really brought that up. And maybe it's because you're in the medical field that you have to keep learning too for your license requirements. But because of that requirement, maybe you've realized that, wow, there's so much more out there that I need to continue to grow and learn because things are changing. There's different options or availabilities. And God knows what we're going through right now. Who knew that wouldn't we all wish we had a stake in Zoom because, we're all learning how to be online differently than we ever were before, right?
Yes, that's correct. And I've had quite a few clients who have chosen not to do Zoom. They were,
Mhm.
rather there be a phone call. And
Yep.
I'm definitely on board with that too, just in terms of checking in. Excuse me, but the telehealth, the telebehavioral health side of doing mental health business can be great as long as you understand your platform. And I think that that's where some of the therapists are running into difficulties is they may have platforms that can't necessarily do everything that needs to be done. Um,
Mhm.
I do think that we should have some type of training, even in light of the laws being relaxed for us to reach out to greater people through telehealth during this time. Um, I took a couple of online classes just as soon as I realized what was happening, and it's helped to really kind of open my eyes to the difference between the telehealth and the things that you need to do for safety for your clients versus seeing people in the office. So again, learning, about the platform and telehealth from other people who've done it really makes a difference in terms of the quality.
Oh my goodness. I'm not sure why we are frozen, but we are frozen. Darn it. As we're talking about telehealth. Hopefully, Nicole will come back to us in just a minute. Guys, what I want to talk to you about for a minute, while unfortunately her internet seems to be frozen, is the powerful part about this. We're hearing from a mental health professional who is talking to us about a business side of life as well. Not only the mental health side, but also the business side. And when you are starting your business, we talked to a young guy yesterday who his business is only 4 years old, and one of the things he had to learn was all of the things that he had to know. Oh goodness, I hope we didn't lose her. All the things that he had to learn on the business side. He knew how to run that business all day long as far as the actual actions of the business and what services they provided people. But to run the business side of that business behind the scenes, there's not that much training when you jump into the water. And so the thing I want to keep enforcing with you is this whole mentorship and not being afraid to learn more, ask questions, look at your resources. The other thing I'll share with you is in most communities, the Small Business Administration has a arm or a leg or a branch, whatever you may want to consider, in your local community that has free resources that can help you with some of these business concepts, because that's one of the pieces that people get hit stumbling blocks on. Like they know really well how to do their business, but they don't know how to calculate what they should be setting aside for income taxes, or they don't have any idea what they should be doing as far as employees and payroll taxes. I was talking to somebody recently who that was a real challenge. Like they'd started a business and said, oh my gosh, I have to do, sign up and apply to have a whole workman's comp licensure set up account, and I have to be able to do that. It's not the fact that they didn't want to pay into it or not follow the rules. It was finding all these things out as you're excited and trying to get your business going. So do rely on the experts and feel very empowered by asking people how they did it, what they're doing, what kind of help they have. One of the things I love to do in my business and coaching entrepreneurs is exactly that, helping with resources, finding information, finding pieces that you need to share to share my expertise, because after 30 years worth of being in business, I have a lot of those experiences. And so those are the things that I like to share as well, along with helping you share your story and grow that piece. I'm looking at my phone because I'm trying to find out. Nicole just let me know she's going to try to sign back in. So let's see what happens there. But what I really wanted you guys to get from that so far was exactly that. The business side is tough because it's out of your realm. Don't be afraid to ask questions and reach out to individuals that have done it before, because like Nicole, she's fantastic at the entrepreneur side of the mental health and helping families. I mean, in today's world, what I love hearing her talk about is the health of families and growing that and helping people navigate through the difficult waters. I mean, just because you have a full family that's active and busy doesn't mean that they're necessarily healthy within their right. So we want to talk don't be afraid to reach out and talk to people who can help with those kind of things, like Nicole, who can help you navigate through some of those questions, maybe stumbling blocks in your business. But as far as the entrepreneurial side, she brings to light a lot of really interesting things. And when she comes back, we really want to talk to her for a minute about the professional side of this. Let's see. I think I'm going to have her back in just a sec. It looks like she's signing in, but I want to talk to her about the professional side of this telehealth thing, because I think it's really poignant right now, obviously in the time that we're in, to understand how doctors are going to this. I mean, how long are we going to be in this situation where this is going to be necessary? And you still need to be able to talk to your doctor, right? So it's really important to be able to see them, ask questions, understand the situation without putting anyone at risk. So I think that the health side is going to be really important. I see a lot of people are saying hi. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, Kim, how are you? Hey, Helen, Darlene, we got to get you on an interview, Darlene. I'm going to be reaching out to you soon. But Nicole gave you a shout out because Darlene is Nicole's landlord. So I'm glad she did. Hey, Lakeisha, how are you, lady? I hope you guys are all doing well, safe in your home. Thanks so much for taking the time to tune into our live entrepreneurial live interviews, because we're just having so much great success with this because people are willing to share their stories, right? I think that so many of us run into not understanding what we need to do next when we hit a brick wall. And I'm trying to answer Nicole if I can see where if she's stuck. Yeah. Okay. Let me see if she can sign back in. Let me actually share a new link with her, and hopefully I can get her back online for us. Give me just 1 second. There we go. Let me see if that'll help getting her back online with us. Otherwise, we're going to have to wrap up because we want to make sure we're in the right amount of time here. But I do want to share with you guys one other thing. I'm doing a lot of interviews to try to share information with you guys about entrepreneurs and some of their struggles, but also some of their successes. And so you guys can relate, because, sometimes we're afraid to ask questions to others about how they got through certain things. And these guys are totally willing to share their stories and their struggles and their successes, so you guys can understand that anybody can do this. So one of the things I like to do through my coaching practice is help business owners get through some of those struggles, understand some of those pieces, and also figure out the expertise that they have to be able to share that information so people understand exactly what the entrepreneur value is, so that they can, in fact, grow their business. I mean, when I did this in my business and started sharing information about the things that I knew, I thought I was sharing things that I thought people needed to know, when in fact I wasn't tapping into the right information. And once I started tapping into the right information, I was able to grow my business by 40% within that year, or first year after we made those changes, and 20% in the first 6 months. So I want to share with you guys that it's not always just about the way you're marketing or how you're doing your business. Building the relationships are important, but I also work with people to be able to tell their stories better, to understand the value that they offer, and to be able to share those stories. So if you want to work with me or talk to me a little bit more about how we can do that, ConnieFuksa.com is my website. It's up here in the corner of the screen. I think it's backwards, so it's up there. And so reach out to me and let me know how I can help you. I love helping with resources as well. And unfortunately, it looks like Nicole's not going to be able to get back on with us. So we'll ask her some questions and we'll post them later. I will post in the comments in the Facebook Live how to reach Nicole if you have more questions, you want more information. And Nicole, I can't thank you enough for being on live with us today. I truly appreciate you. And I want you guys to watch out. Coming up next at 12:30 will be Jeff Dewar. Jeff is totally different than any of the other entrepreneurs that we've had on so far. He saves lives every day. As a matter of fact, he's fitting us into his schedule today to be able to talk to us. And he also spins music and has been doing it for a while, but he isn't just a DJ. He does a lot of really unique things. And I just want to share his story with you guys. And I want you to see a first responder. And I also want you to see the entrepreneurial side of just Jeff. So tune in at 12:30 for Jeff. Nicole, thank you so much for being on with us today. Guys, I really appreciate your time, and keep tuning in. We've got lots more coming. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in to Entrepreneurial Live Interviews with Connie Fuksa. I am Connie Fuksa. Bye-bye.